Too funny.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Sweet Advice Podcast. We are super excited today because we finally got Brian Castillo, who is a professional MMA fighter, and he is my trainer. Well, hold on. I don't want to lie to the people. I'm not training for anything. Okay. You are my coach, fitness coach, because I go to the gym at 5 a.m. Yeah,
5 a.m. in the morning.
5 a.m. in the morning. Believe it or not, if some people look at me like, you don't go to no goddamn gym at 5 a.m., you fat ass. Come on. Well, I try, guys. I mean, when I wake up, check it out. So I put my alarm at 4:15. I wake up at 4:15. I try every single day. Man, when that alarm goes off, especially like a Monday morning, I feel all groggy. I reach out my hand, I turn the phone off, I put the snooze button. And in that moment, like for the first like second or 2 seconds, I start making deals with the devil. I'm like, hey, bro, look, if you could just make time stop for like 15 minutes, man, I'll do whatever you want to do. But it's hard. It's hard, especially when you got kids. I mean, I got 2 little boys, 6 and 2. And these guys, I mean, I come home from work and all they want to do is play. And it's like, okay, then we got to do dinner, we got to do the laundry, and then we got to do homework with the kids. And then by the time you know, it's already 10 o'clock and I got to do, my podcasting stuff, and I got to do some research, and then it's just like next thing you know, it's midnight, and I got to wake up at 4:15. I get 4 hours and 15 minutes of sleep, if that. It's hard.
Are you a person that needs his sleep?
Sometimes, but I'm kind of a morning person, so it doesn't matter like how much sleep I get in the morning. When I'm up, I'm up.
Yeah.
Like I can't go back to sleep once I'm up. So that kind of works out for me. There's people that they're like, no, I'm just not going,
And see, like my wife always tells me, like, she's like, just take a nap when you get home. And I tell her, you don't understand. It's really hard for me.
It's hard, especially it's daylight out and you just can't. You're already wired and ready to go.
And then, well, the way I give the class, I mean, I tell her, well, you don't understand. The way I give the class, it's kind of hard to go back to sleep from that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know where I get this energy from. I just get it, like, I'm just all in everybody's faces, energetic.
Right. You got to motivate everybody and stuff.
Cracking jokes. You know how
you're not that funny, though.
Oh, sure, whatever.
All right, well, check it out. So first and foremost, you are a professional MMA fighter.
Correct.
For those of you who don't know what MMA stands for, it's mixed martial arts.
Correct.
Right? If you still don't know what that is, UFC. Right? That's what most people associate it with.
That's what most people associate it with.
But it's not. That's just one aspect of it, right?
That's like saying, what's the best way to put it? That's like saying, so you do radio talk shows, and and it's like, no, I do a podcast. It's completely different.
Right. Yeah. I'm not on TV or
it's generalizing it.
Right.
UFC is it's a brand.
Right.
That's the best way to put it. It's a brand.
It's Coca-Cola of brands, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like.
But there's many out. There's Pepsi. There's Dr. Pepper. There's all other stuff.
Exactly.
Because you have Bellator.
There's Bellator.
Pride.
No, Pride actually was bought out by UFC like 2008, 2000.
Right, okay.
Maybe 2010. I don't know. It was bought out, and then all the fighters that were still active in Pride literally just went straight into the UFC.
Switched over to UFC. Okay. That makes sense.
No, it was, but that was an old one. But right now it's UFC. Bellator. What else? King of the Cage.
Those European ones too, right? They have a bunch of ones in Europe.
ONE FC. ONE FC is like one of the biggest ones right now.
Right.
Probably is right up there when it comes to money wise, and they do pay the fighters way more.
What about Strike Force? Is that another one?
Strike Force was bought out by the UFC. All the fighters from there went to the UFC. Yeah. Then right now we have there's an Invicta. That Invicta, it's. I would say that's mainly for the women fighters. And that's pretty much to, you get a talent pool up, and then whatever champions you get from there, or like really good fighters, those are the ones that they're going to sign onto the UFC. So it's like a recruiting promotion for the UFC, especially when it comes to the women fighters. Right. And then same thing, like with the men, but mainly you get the most up-and-comer female fighters off of Invicta. Cool.
Well, we need to check that out. All right, so you're a pro MMA fighter, and you're also a personal trainer?
Yes, I'm a personal trainer for boxing, MMA.
And then you give classes, right? Yes. So you do the pro MMA, you do the classes that I go to that are free with the gym membership, and then you do personal training on the side.
Correct.
Like what you do, like jiu-jitsu?
I always tell everybody I'm very well rounded, so I can do all of it. Like I can teach jiu-jitsu enough to where I can teach you the fundamentals and basics, without going too hard into the advanced. Right. As far as Muay Thai, I always tell everybody, I don't teach American kickboxing like what everybody thinks kickboxing is. Like I tell them I teach Muay Thai. Right. Muay Thai is a big difference from just the regular kickboxing. Everybody thinks you kick with your foot. That is not at all the case.
Well, you kick with your shin?
You kick with your shin, yes. Like, have you ever tried kicking those bags?
Yes, I have. And I have a goddamn, not a scar, but I have a big scrape from that other kickboxing class that we did. It actually still hurts.
I told you, when you throw those knees, if you go straight up into the bag, you're going to take the skin off.
Right. You got to point.
You have to drive, point and drive forward with your knees. Right. Same thing with the kicks. You kick with your shin. If you kick with your foot, you will find out really fast not to do that. Yeah.
Don't try that at home, kids. You need somebody who knows what they're doing to teach you, because, you can hurt yourself, man. I have a tiny little thing, and I'm already complaining, but I can only imagine something harder and more difficult. You just wipe all your skin off, man.
Yeah, that's why, every time I teach kickboxing, especially kickboxing, I always tell everybody safety first. I always have that little safety speech at the beginning. Right. And it doesn't matter if everybody's, already done my class. I do it just to remind you guys, because, it's easy to forget, to be honest, especially when you're tired and it just goes out the window, especially technique, It goes out the window. So always remind you guys, and, still people get hurt, one person that always gets bruised is, that Anna Gamble.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like she posted her legs after the workout, the kickboxing workout this past Wednesday, just bruised to shit. All bruised. Bruised to shit. No, then I remember when I used to teach her at some other gym, and with her I did personal training a lot. So I took her from not really knowing anything to she got really, really good really fast. Wow. Yeah, it's because I'm very extreme when it comes to the basics. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of
drill it.
Yeah, I drill it hard and repetition, and then I'm pushing you at the same time. Basically, I'm teaching you if I'm going to teach you to get ready to get into the cage. Right. I'm not gonna baby you and throw you garbage mitt work and stuff. Right. No, you're gonna learn the proper way. There's no other way to learn. Mm-hmm. So with her, I was.
If you want results, and you got to do it the right way.
With her, I was doing elbows, knees, and kicks. So this 2 days after our personal training, she from the mid part of her forearm down to her elbow was just a giant scab. Ugh. Yeah, the top of her knee, because I was telling her you hit it with your kneecap at the top of her knee. She was hitting with the top of her knee. That was completely just purple, bruised black.
Bro, you were going Kill Bill on her.
Yeah, no, and then we picked up after that still, even with her body all messed up, we still kept going.
I'd have been time out.
No, and she's tough.
I'm going to go cry in the restroom real quick.
She's tough as nails. Within a month and a half, she was sparring with me.
Wow, cool. All right, well, so before we get into all the pro stuff and even the amateur stuff and how you came up, let's get a little bit of background information from you. So where are you originally from?
I'm originally from California, Chula Vista.
Chula Vista, yeah. San Diego. It means whale's vagina. Whale's vagina. That's not what I think. That's not what it means. No, I'm pretty sure.
That's pretty. Dude, I love that movie.
Yeah, I was in Chula Vista this past summer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we took the kids to Legoland and stuff, and
I was there for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving? You still have family over there or what?
All my family's
over
okay.
there.
Yeah, I spent my birthday there too.
Nice. Yeah, we need to take a little road trip, man.
Well, as a matter of fact, I'll be moving to San Jose soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be moving back to Houston a couple months. Well, actually, we're in the process of deciding if we're gonna stay for a couple more years here or move back, because all my family's in Houston. I have 2 friends that I knew before I moved here that lived here, and one of them was in Fort Bliss, and then he moved to Italy. So I have 1 friend.
So you have 1 friend left.
Yeah, I have no family. So like it's hard with the kids. Like there's no grandma, there's no cousins. There's so the kids are always asking, hey, where are my cousins and where's grandma? And so we're like, oh man, we might have to move back. It's hard. So
well, what do you? I know you have your family over there, but do you like Houston better because you've been there, or do you like El Paso because it's really laid back?
Okay, so here's the thing. The thing is, Houston is rough. Like, first of all, no one in their right mind ever wakes up one day and go, hey, baby, let's take the kids to Houston for vacation. Like, there's nothing there, man. There's no beaches. There's no theme parks or amusement parks. I mean, we have, like, NASA, but nobody goes to that shit. Like, it's old, you go there once and that's it. Like, you don't need to go back ever.
Yeah.
Houston is one of those places. It's a great place to work. There's jobs galore. I mean, you have the oil industry, the energy, all that stuff, and so it's a great place to make money. But it's not a one of those cities that has a vibrant nightlife, and it's getting better over the years. It's gotten way better. Like it's got this place called Midtown and Rice Village and these places that are coming up. But when growing up, it just wasn't there, and there's a lot of crime. A lot of gangs. When I was going to school, I would be afraid to go to school and just go into the restroom because there was gang fights and stabbings and drugs everywhere. They had the dogs all the time and SWAT team. It was pretty rough, but here's the thing. I like El Paso. It's very laid back, and I've never felt more safe in my life ever. Even being next to the deadliest city in the world, Juarez.
Not anymore.
Well, I mean, it's still pretty bad. It's still pretty bad. Yeah. I don't care what anybody says. But
there's always that risk.
Yeah, and El Paso's a good place to raise your kids, and it's very quiet, very clean city. But here's the thing. It's not home. Yeah. And it will never be home. And I feel out of place. I could be happy, but I still won't be as happy as if I was at home.
And I can totally relate to you.
That's the thing.
I told my wife, I've been here for over 15 years easily. As a matter of fact, I've been here for over 18 years,
So how did you get from Cali to El Paso?
So when I was like about 6 or 7, my mom pretty much raised me and my 3 sisters. My 2 sisters, sorry. And it was also us 3. My sister, Celia, was pretty much the one that was raising me the most. Taking me to school.
Right.
When no one could take care of me, my sister would have to take me to her high school, and I would have to sit in her class.
Really?
Yeah. My mom was working like 2 jobs and going to college with a 6th grade education level. Mm-hmm. She just went to 6th grade and she didn't go to school. She didn't go to middle school. She didn't go to high school. So when I was young, when I could, as early as I could remember, my mom was going to college already.
Wow.
And she was working, 2 jobs. And so my mom was hardly ever home, hardly. So it was just me and my 2 sisters.
Right.
And my oldest sister was the one mainly taking care of me. I was always with her friends.
Right.
So I remember a lot of her friends back in the day. And it's California. It was the 90s.
Right.
Gang life.
Yeah.
So that's how it was.
Thug life.
Like all those Mexican gangs, cholos. That my sister went through a phase back.
Right. Everybody goes through phases.
But I just remember my mom dating this one military guy, and I liked him. He was pretty cool. He spoiled me with Nintendo all the time.
Nice.
So I had like all the games.
Right.
every time he'd visit, I would get excited, and for the first part, I thought he was my real dad. When I thought he was my real dad, and then so when they got married, they got married kind of out of nowhere, and they had this wedding party.
Surprise!
No, this is where from what I remember, this is where they laid the real surprise on me. So after the wedding party, when everybody was already, all families going home, that's when I think my mom broke the news to us that we're going to be leaving. And it wasn't like we're going to be leaving, like, in a couple of days, we're going to leave to El Paso and we're not coming back.
To where?
Exactly. It's like, what? I didn't want to leave. Both my sisters didn't want to leave.
Right.
As a matter of fact, my sister ended up staying. My eldest sister ended up staying.
Oh, she's like, hell no.
Yeah, exactly. She was like, hell no.
Right.
And I think it was either shortly after that or she got pregnant, as a matter of fact. She was like 17 or 18.
Okay.
We moved here. It was the most miserable summer I had. It was right when school ended, so I started my summer here.
And it's hot as shit here, man. Oh.
Yeah, getting used to the summer here is...
It takes some time.
It takes a couple of years to get used to, and even then, there's some summers that it's just like, holy crap.
Yeah.
The summer is ridiculous here. It can be like 110 sometimes. And you'll never get used to that weather.
Right.
Or when it gets cold, you'll never get used to that too.
Yeah, you get a lot of snowfall and stuff.
So yeah, I moved. We moved here when I was young. And it was rough. Really, really rough for me, especially since I had some racist teachers growing up in elementary. That was tough.
Racist.
My mom had to take me out of classes. Some changed my teachers because,
What side of town?
Yeah.
The west side, east side?
The east side. By now it's at the time then it was the east side, like Yarborough.
Yeah, I heard like the cutoff was like Lee Trevino or something like that.
Yeah, now it's just the east side or far east side.
Wow. Like, how were they racist? I don't understand.
They were just they would treat me how they would treat like, he's like some black kid, and he doesn't have manners, he's ignorant, he's he does this, and it wasn't even that. It was just I had ADHD, I had ADD,
Right.
I was just some hyper ass kid.
Were you diagnosed?
Yeah, I was diagnosed.
Okay.
And I forced my mom to take me off medication. By force, like
I don't want to take this shit
when I would take it, I mean, I could focus on work, but I was a completely different person on it. Like, people can concentrate now. As an adult, I think if I were to take it, it would help me out with like, with work or, doing work or, doing stuff like that, schoolwork, because I do go to school and stuff.
Right.
But back then, it turned me into a zombie back then, and they gave me probably the strongest dose that they could give me at the time.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I would zombie out and, I'd come home, sit down, do my homework, and just stay there.
And you could feel it, like the drugs kicking in and making you into a zombie?
Yeah, and the biggest complaint that I had was headaches and nausea. That was the worst.
Right.
I would have to manage school with a migraine all day.
Jesus.
Because of the medication.
Yeah, that sucks.
And then when I would get off it, I was the happiest kid ever, man.
Right.
Going up and down the stairs.
I'm free now.
Yeah,
Freedom.
Exactly. Yeah, every time when I heard Kevin Hart's special, when he talks about how he put his kid on that medication. Oh, no, it was okay. It was Cat Williams.
Oh, was okay.
Yeah, where he talks about, he's like, what are you doing when after he gives the medication, thinking about running?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, dude, I could
I remember that.
That's so true. You're just thinking about running, thinking about the things you could be doing, but you're just sitting here.
Right. Physically, you just can't do it.
You're just like there for no apparent reason. Like I could do it if I wanted to, but my body is just like, I don't want to.
God, that sucks, man. That sucks. So, okay. So you come to El Paso, and so what happens next? How do you get into MMA, or what was the first thing you got into? Was it like kickboxing, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu?
The first martial arts I tried for a while was actually ninjutsu. Like back in the days, Bushido did ninjutsu.
Okay.
and they were pretty legit. They had at the time they had some guy from Okinawa teaching it. So
oh wow, so it's pretty legit.
Yeah, he wasn't here for like a long time, but he was there. He was here in El Paso for a certain amount of time, so he was here teaching the ninjutsu and stuff, the ninjutsu program, and so I was doing that for a while. I dealt with bullying immediately the moment I came to El Paso.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Immediately. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9, 10.
Like, how were you getting bullied? What would they tell you?
Oh, like I would get picked on. I was always getting into fights. Like I was it. So when I transitioned from California to here, everybody was a year older than me.
Okay.
So I was actually a year ahead than what I was supposed to be. So so like I was always with older kids. I mean, it was a year, but that year is a big difference when you're a kid because. You're the small person in the class.
Right.
Physically, you're the small person in the class, and I'm not a big guy.
Right.
So I was always, being bullied by the bigger kids, or and sometimes it was hard. I didn't have any friends. Everybody had their own friends. So I dealt with bullying a lot, and a lot of discrimination and racism. And I didn't understand. Until high school, because I'm half African American or half black, and I really didn't understand why people would treat me a certain type of way. So, a lot of people grow up, black pride, all that stuff, and
right.
I grew up resenting it. I grew up not liking that part
to fit in and try to disassociate yourself from it so that you could blend in with everybody else.
Yeah, so I grew up resenting, that part of me. And, I'm not going to lie, I grew up kind of resenting, other black people. I didn't have black friends at all.
Right.
Probably until I was 23 years old. That was I made my first black friend when I was 23 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here in El Paso?
Here in El Paso.
Oh, man.
And he was a military guy.
Right.
And, so...
They do exist.
Yeah, cool black people do exist.
Jesus.
I would get, I would assume that, I was raised Mexican, but how black people would say, you're whitewashed,
Right.
I'm just like,
an Oreo.
You gotta understand, I don't have any black friends and, I have no black family members.
Right.
I've never met my dad,
Right.
How is that my fault,
Of course.
So, I dealt with bullying a lot. And so, like I said, I was really small. And it wasn't until, the summer of middle school, going into high school is when I started ninjutsu. And
you're 15 years old, something like that?
When I started high school, I was 13.
13 in high school?
13.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I was 13, right?
Wow.
I was about to turn 13. I'm telling you, I was a year younger than everybody. Everybody's 14, about to be 15.
Right. That's when they have the quinceañeras and all that stuff.
Yeah, everybody was having quinces in middle school, and also there's some older people in middle school, but I was really young going to high school. So, the bullying was worse.
Yeah, of course, I can imagine.
So, I started taking I got out of that, and then I started taking Taekwondo. And that's when I really, was Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday, from right after school till close. So I was there 3 hours a day.
What, 9 o'clock, something like that? 10?
Yeah, around 9 o'clock and 9:30, 10,
Right.
So I was there well over 3 hours a day, every day, Monday through Friday. So by 3 months time, I was already I already gotten advanced 3 or 4 levels in my belt. I would every time they would test, I would take the test, pass the test.
Right.
I would learn my katas, and you would have a sparring after that. After you do the katas, whoever wanted to spar could spar, and I was so advanced. It got to a point where I'm a green belt and I'm going with black belts already.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was winning. It got to a point where I remember this prodigy. Yeah, I guess you could say that. I just had a knack for fighting, a knack, and it would get to a point where when I got to my brown belt, I was going up against 2 black belts at the same time. Mm-hmm. And that's why I was, it'd be me and 2 black belts going up against me.
Right.
And, just common knowledge, I would just take one out first with like a decisive blow and then worry about the other one. So I would go with like the one that I thought was weaker, get him with a spinning back kick or something, mm-hmm. really, a hard counter strike and then worry about the other guy. So, I was advancing pretty fast. Within a year, I was a black belt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that uncommon or? So I've heard it takes quite a long time to get a black belt.
Once you get your black belt and progressing past that takes time. You have to really commit your life to that if you really want to. Just because
become a master.
Yeah, it'll take you till you're really old to get your master level. Because from what I remember, it was like you get your black belt, you have to wait a year till you can test again for your second. So your second dan, Mm-hmm. And then after that, I think it's like 2 years. After that, 3. So it just starts progressing. So, by the time you're like at 5th or 6th dan, you have to wait like another 5-6 years till you can test to your next level. And,
wow.
It's like 7th dan and then I think master after that.
Right. You have to be like a monk or something. Like, where do you find the time to do that?
Well, it's a Korean, it's a Korean sport, right? Taekwondo.
Right.
So, you get a lot of these Koreans that come to the States and, been doing it their whole lives. And it's like regular school curriculum over there.
Right.
It's, you got
common knowledge. Everyone does it.
Everybody in Korea does it. Like, it's part of school curriculum. Right. So, like, they come here and they're already, like, close to grandmaster level. And
right.
So, I started under Master Lee, before he retired and sold his school off to this other guy. His name was Master Cobb.
Okay.
And he was American. But he was his former student. And, at the time, he was already, pretty old.
Right.
So, when he sold the school off to Master Cobb was already, like, he was teaching, like, combatives. He was teaching weapons. So I started learning all that stuff with him. Uh-huh. So, when he started teaching Aikido, it's like Aikido Jiu-Jitsu. It's like a combination of, Jiu-Jitsu and, like, Judo. That's more like what started off Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
Because it's like the Japanese style, it's Aikido and it's Aikido Jiu-Jitsu, Mm-hmm. And that's where the Brazilians got it from,
Okay.
So I started doing that and, at the time, there was like a combatives instructor that went. He was some big dude.
What's that, combative?
From the military. He was a combatives instructor.
Okay.
He taught that stuff and, I liked sparring with him. He was a big dude, but I liked sparring with him because, he would really light me up sometimes, and mm-hmm. I didn't care. It was like mental toughness.
Right.
Learn jiu-jitsu with him, and that's where I was learning my basics. And then, but I was seeking more. I would do tournaments. I had a couple first place trophies, 1-2 gold medals, and it just wasn't enough for me. Just even if mm-hmm. Sometimes those tournaments, you'll see some vicious knockouts.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's whether it's point fighting or Olympic sparring.
Mm-hmm. In jiu-jitsu or taekwondo?
You see some gnarly knockouts. Like, people go stiff. Like,
and they do that little with their fingers in
MMA, you see some gnarly knockouts.
Right.
Like, that's just, if you're gonna see a knockout, that's the type of knockout you're gonna see in taekwondo. Like, where they go stiff and they're out cold.
Right. Or they're out before they hit the floor.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly. Like, you knock them out and then they just stiffen up and then they fall down like a tree. Like, mm-hmm. It's pretty gnarly when when you see that stuff. But that was just the regular in tournaments back in the days.
Right.
But back in the 80s, it was even worse.
Less regulation.
Macho guys trying to knock each other out.
Damn.
Like, different style of karate and mm-hmm. taekwondo and stuff like that. So, I was looking into something different. So, I went to, it was an LA boxing at the time. Uh-huh. And that's when I met my first official MMA coach, was Ed.
Ed?
Yeah, he's still training now, Ed the Tech. He's pretty cool. He was the manager there. And, I started doing cardio boxing, kickboxing, and I saw that they had, like, sparring and then, mm-hmm. like, kickbox, like, actual kickboxing classes and stuff. So I started doing all that. And, the same thing. I was there from 5 to close every day.
How old were you at this time?
At this time, I was like about 16.
Okay.
I was 16. So at this time, I started doing that. So, in high school, dealing with all the bullying, I started developing a reputation in high school. As, don't mess with that kid.
Right.
Because
he's small, but kick your ass.
So what I was like famous for is like beating up some guy at some party, some guy that was like 2 feet taller than me, and everybody was scared of him. He was kicking everybody's butts,
right.
in high school. So everybody was just terrified of this guy, and I just showed up to some party, and then I beat the bricks off him. And
well, how did the fight start? What happened?
They were just
egging you on.
Everybody just was boxing there for fun and like
boxing party.
Yeah, it was basically a boxing party, and I'm just like, I'm here
to meet girls. What's going on here?
Exactly, dude. I'm here to meet girls, and you guys want me to fight and stuff. So.
Right.
And it was funny. My best friend's like, dude, I know you can beat him.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. And what's all that boxing we would do in the summer? Because we would box in the summer with all our friends, and they were just fresa friends. like. In the summer, we would just go into apartments and just put the gloves on and just box.
Right,
I was always a small guy, so I was used to boxing big dudes. So, common knowledge, I'm not going to let you punch me in the face. Mm-hmm. So every time he'd swing at me, he was trying to knock me out. So I would just duck under the punch and just light him up. So literally, I was just there, beating the bricks off of him. And then the way the fight stopped was I ended up tripping on a piece of brick. And I landed on some like little brick wall.
Okay.
For like the plants.
Right.
I ended up getting this big old cut on my arm and cut it wide open.
Right.
So I had to go get stitches and stuff. That's what ended that fight.
Oh, man.
But like ever since then, I got everybody's mutual respect, the who's who of the high school,
So this is before World Star, right?
This is before
World Star.
Yeah. So like
Facebook Live and all.
Before all of that. This is back in the MySpace days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
MySpace,
Tom.
Tom, everybody has to code their, MySpace profile and all that stuff.
How do you get a red background, bro? Let's figure out the coding.
Yeah. I know computers. I know how to code.
Right.
But, no, yeah, dude, like, I was fighting a lot in high school. And so, I started getting an ego on me, I was like, I took shit from nobody.
Right.
And especially back then, it was cholos. And they thought they were the shit back then.
Right, of course.
So, like I was always getting fight with like all of these cholos and he's Su 13. Oh, he's 19th Street. And, this little ass, Blaxican just saying, I don't give a fuck. That guy's full of shit. He ain't shit. I know real cholos and shit.
Right.
And then they would come and, puff their chest at me and I'd just push them, just no fucks given, just push them. And I'm like, what you going to do about it?
Right.
And just beat the bricks off of them.
Would they fight fair or they like try to jump you or?
This one time I got jumped, actually. I ended up getting arrested for it.
So they jumped you, but you got arrested.
Oh, they got arrested. They got in trouble too. They got expelled, but I'm the one that got arrested because
Jesus.
So this was in El Dorado. So like I was gonna get jumped by these guys because the day prior, I got jumped by these cholos with my friends and they pulled knives out on us. It was at the skate park. So I had a knife on me, I had a pocket knife in my pocket.
Right.
So all my friends showed up to pick me up from school, from like a different high school, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna party and stuff," and these guys were gonna jump me, so I was ready for them, like I was just thinking self-defense, but little did I know, having a knife in school will easily get you a felony, even as a juvenile. That's a felony.
Wow.
So the security the security guard is like, "Come here real quick. What's that?"
Yeah. Oh, nothing, mister. This is just it's a can opener.
Pretty much. That was after the fight. My bad. So these guys jumped me. So basically, I ended up breaking one dude's nose.
Wow.
Broke some other guy's arm. Because I still had that type of Taekwondo self-defense training. Just fresh. It's still fresh. So, they're coming at me all crazy, and instead of trying to fight them, I just went all, Chuck Norris on their ass. So afterwards, I'm walking away, I promise you, dude, they're at the crosswalk, about to cross the street. They're on the sidewalk. About to take 2 steps off the sidewalk. That's when the security guard's like, not even stopping me for the fight, stopping me because he noticed a pocket knife in my pocket. Man. And he just confiscated it, and then that's it. Got my information, and I didn't think anything of it. Come Monday, because it's on a Friday. Come Monday, he called me to the office, pretty much telling me you're expelled, and you're going to Keys Academy for 6 months. I think it was 6 months,
which is like a school for troubled teens.
Teens, you know, pretty much all the bad kids go there. So you know, I went there, and you know, it was a learning experience, in a sense that it is a school to learn how to become worse.
Yeah, it's like jail. Yeah, it's like prison.
Dude, you're walking through the metal detector and all that stuff, dude. I got to the point where I learned how to lie through the metal detector. Like, I would sneak in cell phones, MP3 players, like all sorts of stuff.
Right.
Through the metal detector.
Without getting caught,
you know. And,
of course.
You know, like, students snuck in. Dude, it's crazy. You know, they would sneak in drugs. They would get high in class. And, you know, it was crazy, you know.
And imagine, that's a school that's supposed to be on security lockdown. Imagine just a public high school. What's going on in there?
Oh, dude!
I could tell you some stories.
Yeah, don't even start it on public high school.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that because then I won't know when to stop and I'm going to get in trouble. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But all right, so you're 16, 17 years old, and so you met your coach, your trainer, MMA trainer. How did that happen?
So he's like, well, if I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm a black belt and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, you don't really know.
You don't know shit.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what he was telling me. He's like, oh, you're a black belt? Okay, let's see what you got.
Right.
So he's like, why don't you take one of these classes? It was a cardio class. So like, you know, I wasn't too out of shape. I mean, because Taekwondo, it's very, very, you know, you have to be in good shape. You know, I was in shape. You know, I was all fit. You know, I was cut. You know, you're on your feet, you're bouncing around, you're moving around, you know, you're not standing still, and it's all leg work, you know. And so
squatting and stuff.
I wasn't too out of shape. I was like, dude, I liked it. Can I take another one? He's like, yeah, go ahead. So I took all the classes that day, you know, until they closed. So, you know, I just, you know, I got on good relations with him, and so I started meeting the other trainers, and I was, you know, just taking the boxing training classes, the cardio classes, and then I was taking the actual just the boxing class, you know, competitive.
Right.
So, you know, I was doing all of that, and then I had my first amateur, like, unsanctioned bout there at LA Boxing, which the owner ended up getting a lot of trouble, got fined by the state commission.
Really? Like somebody videotaped it, put it online or something?
I think I have the video somewhere. I don't know where. I have to find it. But I have that video where it was my first field belt being in the cage, and yeah, like it was no headgear, nothing. It was literally no medical. Because they have to have, you know, the license. You have to have EMTs present. You have to have a doctor present. Dude, it's a big chore. And no, it was just like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a fight night, you know.
You're headlining.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, but it was fun. And that guy, you know, he's getting married the next day, and he got married with like the biggest black eye. His wife was so mad at him.
What the hell's wrong with you?
And he ended up giving like a bruise the size of a dinner plate on his ribs from all kicks I was giving him.
God.
And yeah, dude, every time I'd kick him, you would just hear the crack, dude. It was pretty gnarly.
You hear him like,
yeah, he'd just take him. He was taking him. I would give him. I did a little ground and pound and stuff. And
was he like your same weight?
He was around the same weight, and it wasn't like, oh, what weight are you gonna fight at? We have to weigh in. Like, we came in that day, we weighed, and we were like, oh, we're on the same weight. It's cool, and we just, you know,
it wasn't anything professional or even amateur, right?
It was even amateur. It was just unsanctioned fight, an unsanctioned fight. So, you know, he actually had experience. He actually had MMA experience. So, you know, I loved it. You know, I fell in love with it, and then shortly after that, my coach left the gym, and I still talk to him. He's like, hey, if you ever want to like actually fight, I have the hookup. You know, I have the connection. So he had opened up his own gym, And then I went, and it was literally like dead, like no one was there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, if you want to fight, I can get you the fights, I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Right.
So I was helping him open the gym up, and I started training every day and doing drill work. And that's when I met a couple friends. I met my friend Derek at this party, and he's like, oh, you don't do MMA. He wanted to fight me, actually. And I was like, bro, like, I'm trying to enjoy my time here. And
right,
you want
right.
to throw hands and shit, I'm trying to play beer pong and get laid, and you're over here trying to fight me. And I'm like, okay. And I told him, I was like, all right, let me just get drunk. Let me play some beer pong. And because I was like all about beer pong at the time. He's like, and then I'll fight you. And then, dude, I got so trash, and he still wanted to fight me. But, he I'm not going to say what he took, but let's just say he took some stuff. And he was just on that extra level, and he wanted to fight me. I'm like, nah, dude, you're stupid. I just literally drank half a bottle of Sky by myself, and played all the games of beer pong. And you want me to fight you? No, I'm good, dude.
Right.
Look, just come to my gym. I'll give you my name and address, all that shit, all the information, and meet me at the gym. Sure enough, come Monday, he was there.
Dang. You thought he was so messed up he wasn't going to remember.
No, it's because he was a wrestler. He used to wrestle.
Okay.
And he loved that. And he's like, yeah, I used to train with this guy, Shane. It was so crazy how, his name will come up. So he's like, yeah, I used to train with this guy, Shane, and he's legit, man. He's legit.
Uh-huh.
So, he comes Monday, and, dude, sure enough, dude, me and him just banging it out and training every day. And then got my first fight with Ed, my first amateur fight. And
like a first real amateur fight.
Yeah. Ended up losing that fight, actually, because the ref thought my arm broke. Like, I was put in an arm bar. I was fine.
Uh-huh.
When I moved, he said it looked like it popped out of place, so he stopped the fight. And I'm like, but it didn't. The guy that I was, going up against, he didn't even know what was going on. He's just like, what happened? And I'm like, no, everybody was confused.
Right.
So it sucked. But, after that, I won my second fight.
But that loss goes permanently on your record.
On your amateur record. Yes.
But if you want to, like, for the people that are listening that want to do MMA and stuff like that, to become amateur, like, what is that process? How do you become an amateur? Do you have to fill out paperwork?
Yeah, well, yeah, you always have to fill out paperwork. It's state requirements.
And do you have to have a trainer, or you could just be like, hey, I want to be an amateur?
You know what, to be honest, I don't know how it is, how strict they are with amateurs how they are now. Back then, you know what, if you say, I've seen so many guys literally just come from the crowd, and be like, I fight, and the promoter needs like a last minute replacement.
Wow.
And that same day, if they're around the weight, they'll fight that same day.
Really?
Yes, really, just like that. And the one thing that you need to understand is amateurs should always be seen as a learning experience. It should never be seen as like this is what your life is going to be, or like this is what this is what matters. Amateur won't mean shit once you go to the pros.
Of course,
it's not going to mean shit.
It's just helping you.
It's all about learning, establishing a skill set, developing a skill set, and mastering the skill set. That's what you want to do.
And learning in the process.
You want to master your skill set at amateur.
Right.
So, like my second fight was like my second or third fight. I ended up meeting this guy, Shane, that Derek was telling me about.
Okay.
That was when I first met Shane. And I ended up meeting him, and I got along with him right away because I told him, I love Muay Thai. I was always interested in Muay Thai. When I was at LA Boxing, there's this guy, who's from Hawaii, who's a Muay Thai fighter. I learned a bit from him, but I always wanted to really learn Muay Thai and take it further. So he lived in Thailand. He used to be a Muay Thai fighter. He was pretty good. And so I was like, hey, I want to train, and I want to train with you. So I would start going to both gyms. I was with Ed, and I would go with Shane. But I would go with Shane because there, like, the level of training there was not the same. Like, at Ed's, it was more like, we train hard, and then we crack open some beers.
Right.
It's all about getting laid and picking up chicks, partying.
Looking good.
Partying, drinking, all that stuff. There was nobody there that took training seriously.
Wow.
like nobody there.
And this is your trainer.
This is
the guy that got you into the amateur.
He was there with us. He was there with us. You know,
I might need to switch trainers.
But I wanted to really like be a badass. You know,
right.
To me, Shane was just like, when he trained me, I was just like, dude, this guy's God. You know, and there's nobody in El Paso training like that. So,
right.
And I started training with him. You know, I started getting really good. You know, started developing a good record, and then, you know, won a couple titles with him.
Amateur titles.
Okay. Yeah, you know, like, just to show you how crazy I was back then. I did not give two hoots, you know, about being being professional.
Right.
So they had this fight here in downtown. I was supposed to fight at 145, and so they shut Mill Street down. Had the cage there.
Okay.
On the street.
Oh, like in the middle of downtown?
Yeah, they shut it down. It was pretty cool, you know?
Yeah, that would seem awesome.
Fought this guy. And prior to the fight, the day before, so Jaguars ended up sponsoring the event.
Jaguars is a gentleman's club.
It's a gentleman's club.
To say it in a professional way.
So, you know, we're helping promote, so you're getting free access to this place, you know.
Right.
We don't have to pay at all to get in.
Oh.
You know how it's expensive, you know. Mm-hmm. So the day before the fight, which is the weigh-ins, after weigh-ins, no, it was actually the day before weigh-ins, we partied at Jaguars.
Okay.
With the promoter.
And your coach.
No, not my coach. It was actually just promoter. It was a couple of the fighters.
Okay.
Partied there, got trashed. The next day we have weigh-ins.
Right.
Weighed in, made weight, partied there again at Jaguars, got trashed. Really, really trashed. Didn't finish till 7 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Dude.
Well, hey, either go hard or go home, bro.
So me and my friend, my buddy, we were the main events. Like, I was co-main, he was the main event.
Shane?
No, Shane's the trainer.
But, okay.
So my buddy, his name's Martin. You know, he's actually a pretty good fighter, really good fighter. So he's the main event. I'm the co-main. You know, we show up to the fights. We're exhausted. All we did prior to, you know, when everything's being set up and all that stuff, all we did was sleep our asses off. That's all we did. The whole entire time we were asleep.
Right.
I didn't wake up till probably an hour before my bout.
Wow.
And I started to warm up. Yeah, dude, I was passed out there. So, I start warming up, getting my wraps done and everything, and go out there, first round, just start lighting this guy up, I was lighting
adrenaline's kicking in.
I was kicking the crap out of his legs so bad, really, really bad. I was really throwing hard, heavy leg kicks, and then, he pulled guard on me, and then I was slamming him, and then he tried, submitting me. I was slamming him. Come second round, he didn't want to come back out. So I won the fight.
Quit on his stool.
He quit on his stool. So I won the fight. My friend, his fight comes, submits the guy in like 20 seconds.
Wow.
So we basically didn't break a sweat at all.
Right.
We win our fights, just started drinking immediately because there's like a bar right there.
Celebration!
On that street where everybody, where the fight was at, there was a bar that was providing drinks for everybody. Mm-hmm. Went straight there, get hammered, went to Jaguars. Didn't stop partying till like 9 a.m. It was crazy. And that was our amateur life. Like, win or lose, that's what we did.
How old were you?
I was 17, 18, 19, 20. Wow. So, like, it wasn't until 2010 is when I went pro. And around that time, I was, like, barely 21.
Okay.
21, 22. And, at this point, in high school, I was also in high school. I was fighting, traveling the country, and I was in high school still.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was doing all this stuff, drinking, partying, and I ended up getting my, ex-girlfriend pregnant at the time in high school.
Wow.
So I had my first kid like in 2009, So I went pro in 2010, and it wasn't like I went pro in 2010 because I thought I was ready. I was just very I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready at all.
Right.
I was very reluctant, and my coach was like, "Just do it, man. Just do it." like, who cares? Just do it. I'm like, all right. So I was supposed to fight some guy last 2 days before the fight. Got pulled off the card. He said he couldn't or something like that. I don't know what happened, but my fight got canceled. They found me another fighter, but he was going to struggle to make the weight. Mm-hmm. The weight was going to be at 140 or 145, I think. Mm-hmm. And the guy's like, I don't know if I can make the weight. And I'm like, well, let's see what you got. He comes in, like 6-7 pounds overweight.
Oh, wow.
Keep in mind, this guy's a 155er. He fights at 155.
Right. It's natural.
So that's his natural weight. Mm-hmm. On top of him being 155, his natural weight is 170.
Oh.
And
that's a big guy.
My first pro fight was against Cody Pfister. I don't know if you know who that is.
It sounds familiar.
So he was fighting in the UFC for a while, and now he actually he just started his own fight league.
Okay.
I think it's like Fist Fight League or something like that.
Okay.
Fist Fighting Championship. But that was my first MMA, my first fight was with him. And I ended up losing that bout through, I only got like 3 punches in, really hard punches in, and then he didn't like it, took me down.
He's like, oh, you want to play?
No, like he didn't like it as in like, holy shit, I don't want to get hit by this again.
Right.
Because I left him the giant ass like mouse on his forehead.
Right.
So like, he took me down and he just muscled my ass into a rear naked choke.
Right.
And I lost it just like that, and it sucked. Hometown, losing hometown like that. So I was just like, disappointed. And after that, I was like, fuck this. I am going to dedicate my time into the training. So that's when I was really training really hard with Shane. And, like I was it was like going back and forth with Shane and Ed because like I didn't want to, betray Ed because he's the one that got me into it. And, loyalty matters, loyalty always matters. But like,
and that bond, that relationship you get between.
Exactly. I had so many good times with him, but like I saw it as like, dude, I'm not learning anymore. If I want to be serious with this, I have to change my training. I have to change my training because I'm not learning anymore. He was focusing more on his cardio classes, his clients and stuff. And then when it came to MMA, it was just like, we just go and spar. And it's just like, I'm not learning anything by sparring. I'm not learning any new skill sets or anything. And with Shane, I was learning a bunch of new stuff. Mm-hmm. So, I was focusing more just training with Shane and stuff. And then from training with Shane, I ended up joining the Bushido fight team. Then from training the Bushido fight team, that's when things started taking off. That's when things started going really well. We established a good fight team. Where the big fight teams like around the country were taking notice, especially since we were having like this rivalry against Greg Jackson's. They're like, who Greg Jackson is? Yeah. We established a rivalry with them because we were actually beating their fighters.
Wow.
Yeah. So, that was like the good days to me. It was the good days. We had a badass team, training every day. Just training with killers.
Around what year was this?
This was. 2000 between 2010 and 2012. Okay. Around there. And then
now when you were in the amateurs, were you getting paid?
No. For in amateurs you don't get paid. Amateurs you don't get paid.
And you had to travel to these places?
Everything you pay for, you have to pay, man. Traveling you pay for it.
Really?
But sometimes, depending on the promoters, because there's cool promoters. Like, they'll pay you for your travel. That's one thing that promoters are really good at. They'll pay you for your travel. Okay. So they'll just pay you for your travel, and then, that's about it. You don't make money in the amateurs. Oh. It's.
I thought they would like at least pay for your time for training. I mean, you're representing them, so you need. They would want you to train hard and better. So a facility or even your uniform or.
See, what I think. What you are talking about is like a boxing promoter.
Right. Okay.
Nah, that's not.
It's different.
No, MMA promoters are not even nothing like that. They're nothing like that. No, an MMA promoter, by promoter is they have their own fight organization. Okay. And they promote that fight organization, and then they get fighters from all over the place. Pretty much, you're freelancer. Oh, okay. You're a freelancer.
Like an independent contractor.
Yeah, and that's how you get paid. You get paid as an independent contractor once you go pro.
Right.
And even when you go, it's not until you're signing a contract with a promotion is when you're like fighting under them and only them.
Right.
You get me? So, at amateur, at the most they'll do is pay for your travel, you know.
Right. Just get you there, and you're on your own after that. You got to pay your own meals.
But yeah, promoters. There's some promoters that do have, you know, fighters that they manage and all that stuff. You know, but those are like the bigger names, like the.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Tito Ortiz's.
Yeah, like, you know, there's some fighters right now in the UFC that are doing really well, and they're actually promoters. You know, it's a lot. It's like that a lot. A lot of really high level pros have their own fight organizations and stuff, and they have their own stable of fighters, and you know. Right. But once you go pro, you know, that's when you start getting paid, and that's what the mistake I made is, you know, when I did my first pro fight, it was only for a measly $300 that I got, I think.
$300 for your first pro fight.
$300 for my first pro fight.
Wow.
Look, the way it works is, you know, for example, there's like $300 if you show up to fight, and an extra $300 if you win. So okay. So if you win, you always make your double. The
incentive,
amount. Yeah, you always make your double the amount. So I could have made $600, but I did it. You know, so like I look back on it, and I'm like, man, I should have said no. Should have stayed amateur.
Right.
Probably like 5 more amateur bouts, and then go pro. Because at that point, you know, I had like 2 titles. You know, I was like 21-5, 21-6 amateur, and that's a lot of fights for amateur back then. You know, so nowadays people just go straight pro. You know,
right. But see, that's where a mentor comes in, a good trainer. Like, hey, you're not ready, bro. Like, trust me, you're just not. And, you know, I know sometimes the ego, the pride gets in the way, but that's where somebody comes in that knows what they're doing, knows what they're talking about. Like, no, bro. Like,
and that's what I liked about Shane, you know, like he, you know, no matter what, he was always there and told me the hard truth. Mm-hmm. And Shane, when you get to know that guy is all about the hard truth.
Right.
You know,
they don't sugarcoat anything.
No, he doesn't sugarcoat it. He laces it with, you know, C4 explosive, with ball bearings, and, you know, nuclear radiation. Like, anything that can harm you that you could think of, that's what he coats his words with.
Right.
So when he tells you the truth, he tells you in the most hardcore, brutal way, where it's just like, dude, I don't know if I can.
You just want to crawl in a ball and
dude,
cry.
You can't even survive that comment or conversation. You know, it's just like, you just broke my heart, but you're so right. You know, like,
right.
Like that's just how he is. You know, he's a hardened guy.
You need people like that in your life, especially.
And I respected him for him. I respected him for that. That's exactly what I liked about him. Right. You know. Like, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I would, you know, fuck up, or like, you know, I'd get lazy, and he would tell me all the time, you know, he's like, dude, you're a waste of raw talent, you know. Mm-hmm. You have, I've never seen somebody with so much talent in this, and you waste it all the time. Right. And I agree, you know, like I've wasted so many years, you know, where I could be up there, you know, and a lot of it was, you know, me trying to be loyal, like that bites you in the ass. Trying to be loyal, you know, a lot of people that are up there is because they're stepping on other people, or they're using other people to step on, you know, or they're taking advantage of other people, or they're in it for themselves. And I've known so many guys that, like, they're not good fighters, but because they're so selfish with themselves, and they know how to, you know, work
the system
and get there, you know. And I'm not like that. And Shane also, like, you know, Shane's the type of guy, he's like, I'm not going to put you to fight an easy fight. You're going to fucking fight the best. And that's why I don't have the greatest record, but all my fights have never been it's never been an easy fight. Right. I'm fighting like the top guy of the area, the top guy of the, you know, the city or state or the gym, or like the region, you know, like, you know, I fight top ranked fighters all the time. Like, I can be like ranked 54 and I'll fight a ranked 10 guy, you know, win or lose, it doesn't matter to me, but my rank goes up fighting these guys.
Of course.
You know, and
your reputation is on the line.
And
you know, you grow, people get respect for you.
Yeah. And like in the Southwest region at one point, you know, I was like I was top 10. Right. You know, because I was really active, and, you know, I was fighting guys way higher up in my rank, and, you know, and it's just, you know, like, it's hard, you know, because when you fight guys like that, those are the only type of fighters you can get, especially on short notice. And that's the hard part. Is I don't want to fight a top-ranked guy on short notice. You know, I want to train for that fight. Because when I train for the fights, that guaranteed win. Guaranteed win. Every time I've trained really hard for a fight, like I've had time to prepare, I win my fight easily. Right. And I'm just like, man, dude, like I just want to keep doing this. And then, you know, I train for like a month, and then I could take a last minute fight, and it's a rough fight, it's a rough cut, or, you know, I win or I lose, and then, you know, I didn't have enough time to prepare, or, you know, I should have prepared more in this. And, you know, that's when the doubts set in, and, you know, it takes the set wind out of your sails, like it always does, you know, and it makes you second guess.
Now, can you take us through that process of like, so you're a professional, you are, let's say you have an upcoming fight, let's say 2 months from now.
Yeah.
Like where does your mind go, and how do you train? Like how many miles are you running in the morning? What's your diet like? What's your thought process, and what time do you go to bed? What time do you wake up? All that stuff.
It's hard. But like you said, when you have kids, time flies.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, it's honestly, it's really, really hard, especially now. Like, it's really hard. So, you know, mile wise, the one thing that I've tried my hardest to do, even when I'm not training, is, you know, like my coach said, you should be running a minimum of 5 miles a day. Minimum of 5 miles a day.
Okay. In the morning, at night, afternoon?
A day.
Just in the day.
And so, you know, for example, like since I've been sick, you know, starting on Monday, I should feel better. After I teach the 5 a.m. class, I'm going to be hitting, you know, that really expensive, fancy treadmill machine we have there?
Right, the self-running one?
That one? Uh-huh. I'm going to be using that every day after the class. So I'm going to be probably doing my 5 miles there. And then every time I run my 5, I always run with the elevation mask.
Okay.
Always. So
just to train your breathing?
It will make your lungs stronger. It always makes your lungs stronger, so you can, when you're not using it, you take in more oxygen. You know? Okay. That's why it says it's an advantage of training at high elevation.
Like in Colorado or places like that.
As it is, you know, our elevation's pretty high up there, you know. Right. I am getting that high elevation training. Now I'm taking it a step further by adding that.
By using the mask.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, there's that, and then, you know, training-wise, you want to go like 3-4 hours a day.
3-4
in total.
Nonstop.
In total. Like, usually, see, it's the hard part is just scheduling, man. That's right. Probably the toughest thing for me is scheduling.
Right.
You know, because, you know, I have a family, I have kids, and, you know, I have a wife, you know, that I have to be considerate of. So, it's tough, you know, and not all the time are they going to be understanding, you know.
Well, it's tough, dude. I have 2 boys. I have a wife. I'm not even anywhere near of being a professional athlete, but it's hard for me to schedule everything for my family, and I can only imagine training. Like, hey, baby, I got to go train. Yeah. Like, you want me to win? You want me to do something? You know, like, leave me alone.
I say the exact same thing. Like, what do you do? You want me to win? Like,
right.
It's like I'm gonna make money out of this. It's not like I'm not. She's like, well, you're not. You're just going to train. I'm like, I understand that, but think of it this way. I'm working my ass off all month long, and then that's when I make the paycheck. Right. Like a salary. Exactly. Like, that's the way I see it.
Exactly.
I'm not training to go have fun. I'm not training to spend time with my friends or to chit chat or to, you know, to have fun. That's not what it's about. Because I can guarantee you, when I'm training, dude, I am just like I'm killing you guys in the morning, dude. Just 10 times worse, dude. My trainer is hard.
Of course,
he's tough. And, you know, I'm killing myself. I'm putting my body through all this stuff, and it's not fun. You know, it's not fun. You know, that's not what I would like to do, to spend my free time and, you know, decompress from life or from, you know, my me time. That's not my me time.
Right.
You know, she thinks it is sometimes. You know, oh, well, you get to go do that. I'm like, no, you know.
Right. It's not fun for me.
Yeah, I tell it. That's not what this is about. To me, it's sort of like a job. You know, it's something that I have to do to get in the shape that I need to get and to get the skill set so I can win.
Right.
I mean, you got to understand, you know, for example, let's say I signed the contract, and the promoter's like, okay, we'll pay you $800 if you fight, and another $800 if you win.
Right.
So that's $1,600 that I could be making for one day.
Right.
How are you not gonna want to train your ass off?
Exactly.
Be in the best shape of your life to guarantee that $1,600.
Uh-huh.
Why am I gonna be like, well, at least I'll get $800? No, you're gonna go after that double pay.
And if you're not thinking, I want the $1,600, you shouldn't be fighting.
Yeah.
Right. You shouldn't be there.
Yeah. It's like, I want to win. I mean, if you're in it for the money, that should be your incentive. That's an incentive, but you want to win. You don't want to lose. Losing's like the worst thing ever. Even the only way you can handle a loss is if it's a really close fight and you guys are just there going at it, and it's just those fights, an epic fight that's so badass that it's just like, man, dude, it could have gone either way.
Right.
That's the only time you could probably accept a loss. Other than that, then
like, I met my match and it could have went either way.
Other than that, like, dude, losing's not fun. I hate it. It's not cool.
You think about it for months.
I've been robbed so many times. And that's what sucks too. Also, that there's like 2-3 fights on that are my losses that I legit got robbed.
Wow.
It sucks. It's legit got robbed. So, I found like really, really good guys, and, they had nothing on me, but, it's just sometimes, I train like shit, I've learned from that mistake, and, I don't want to do that again. My last MMA fight, it's not that I trained like shit, it's, I didn't work on my wrestling enough.
Grappling and wrestling.
Not my grappling, my wrestling. I fought a guy that he's been wrestling his whole life since he was a kid.
Right.
Badass wrestler. So, he tried standing with me, couldn't handle it, and I tried defending it, and I would defend it here and there, but then, like he just really
just has the technique down.
Yeah, he just kept me down, and he kept me there, and for 3 rounds he just beat on me. And I wasn't like getting my ass kicked to where he, I was going limp. No, he was just keeping me there and just throwing punches on me. It was just punches and bunches, it wasn't like significant big blows. Like, I was constantly moving and defending. That's all I could do the whole fight.
Right.
I ended up losing it, and like that took every ounce of like fight I had in me. It just took it away. And then,
well, it's a learning experience.
Yeah, though, right? And it took it away. And what made it worse is like everybody that I knew watched the fight. It was in Arizona, but it was aired. So like for example, my wife and her friends, they watch it at this bar, and I'm there losing in front of everybody, and I'm there looking like a total retard because I can't defend the damn takedown, and he's just holding me down, and it just looks like that's what it looks like. It's like he has his hand on me.
What was the guy's name?
Just, Mike something.
Oh, well, we actually have it right here.
Oh, shit. Oh, really?
Magic Mike.
Magic Mike, yes.
You know what? I saw, because I YouTubed you, obviously, right? Yeah. And so I was like, let me see some of his fights. And so it's called 145 featherweight title, Brian Castillo versus Magic Mike Hamill.
Yes, Mike Hamill.
Hamill, yes. And I was like, dude, with a name like Magic Mike, you should have already lost. Like, that's just... that's a no-go for me.
Well, as a matter of fact, the guy that I fought for the title, an amateur in downtown, his fight name was Twinkle Toes.
You should have kicked the shit out of him for that name.
I did. That's what I'm saying, dude. I was kicking
him.
I was leg kicking him so hard and so bad. He didn't want any of it.
You're not going to be able to walk on your damn toes after this. So, like, check it out. Have you ever watched this?
Dude, I have yet to watch that fight. I don't want to watch that fight because I'm not gonna lie, dude.
Well, because I have some questions.
Yeah.
About. So check it out. There's something really funny too.
And it's so funny because like. Dude, like, yeah, it's commentators are such assholes, I swear.
Oh, the demon didn't bring any friends with them.
I actually had a lot of friends in the. That's a weird picture.
Yeah. Wait, so how did you get the nickname the demon?
I actually got that in LA boxing. They're like, oh, what's your fight name? Like,
right.
And I'm like, I didn't know what fight name to pick, and I had a very I had a very aggressive fighting style, you know, at the time, and I'm into like metal and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I had this
heavy metal. Yeah, that's the music you always play.
And I have a back tattoo. I had a back tattoo at the time with a demon skull with horns, and on the back it has like a pentagram with candles on the corners.
Jesus Christ.
So like, you know,
Jesus.
They're like, oh, dude, the demon, man. You know, I'm like, oh, that's so badass.
Yeah, it sounds badass.
And then the guy that like said, he's all into Slayer too. You know, he played the same type of music too.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah, you know, like, and it just that nickname just stuck. You know.
Cool. Yeah. So basically,
He's in hostile waters. Sometimes fighters
you come out. I saw you threw like 2 or 3 straight right hands. Bam, bam! You caught him right in the face. And after that, he kind of just took you down.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he didn't. And honestly, title fights are from whatever my understanding, the unified rules. Title fights are 5 rounds.
Right.
So I trained for 5 rounds. That one was 3 rounds only. 3 rounds only. So I got after the 3rd round, like I didn't know the fight was over yet, and I got up ready to go. He was beyond exhausted. He was beyond exhausted. So I was like, all right, this is my chance to turn it around. Round 4, I have to do something. And we were in my corner. We were talking about that. Like, we have to do something. I'm like, all right, well, we got to turn around. We got to do this. I got to throw more knees on when he's trying to go down on me like that.
Right, catch him with it.
And I believe like in the 2nd or 3rd round, I caught him with the knee trying to take me down like that. And he stood back up. But like, you know, like I was ready to go another 2 more rounds, you know.
It's a title fight.
It's a title fight. I was ready for 2 more rounds. And no, they ended it.
And they were like,
and then, dude, it sucks because, like, dude, I was ready. My body, it's so crazy. When you're in a fight, doesn't matter what's going on with you. It doesn't matter how injured you are or anything like that. You are ready to fight. You're going to fight. You don't feel shit. It's not even adrenaline. That's not your mindset at the time. But the moment I went to the back, bro,
everything just left your body. And you just, like spaghetti.
Bro. They had to rush the EMTs, the doctors. I was so heavily concussed, dude.
Really?
Well, yeah. In the fight, dude, he was hitting me in the back of the head a lot. I had welts.
Like the hammer fist.
I had welts in the back of my head. It was bad. Like you can, like throughout the fight, you can notice them. Like it was bad, dude. I got concussed pretty bad.
Wow.
Yeah, and dude, I was nauseous, dude. I couldn't see. I was just dizzy. Like, yeah, they stayed there with me. The doctor stayed with me like until I was feeling better and stuff. And I had to go to the ER after that.
Wow, that's insane.
I go to the ER after that. I was so tired, like I was falling asleep, and they were trying to keep me awake because I couldn't fall asleep yet. And dude, I was just like, things. Dude, I just want to eat. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm sleepy. And they didn't.
So you come out right here, and when the first time I watched this, I'm like, oh shit, he got him. Boom, boom, right there.
Castillo charges in with
and then after that, he just kind of takes you down and.
Yeah, see,
right there. He was swung and a miss.
He was timing my right.
Right. And pretty much the whole fight is that.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that was my question: is, do you think, like when I watch UFC, because you know I'm really big into boxing.
Yeah.
The Sweet Advice podcast, the Sweet Science, and you know when I watch UFC or MMA, I think to myself, how the hell can a judge score a fight like this? Because wouldn't you have to know every single discipline to know how to properly score it? Because like in boxing, a jab is 1 point and a power punch is like 2. If you want to do it like that.
Yeah, but you know how the rounds are scored. You know, like do they go by a 10-point system? Yeah, right. Per round.
Yes.
Okay. So it's the same thing, 10-point must system with the winner of the round always scoring a 10.
Okay.
So it's so funny that you asked me this question because I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. It was Friday, right? No, it was on Friday.
Okay.
So on Friday, I was listening to Joe Rogan, and this is the exact conversation that they were having. He was having this conversation. No, it was yesterday. He was having this conversation with Pat Miletich. He just went on the show, and they were talking about how, you know, they need to do something about the scoring system. They need to change it. They have to change it. It's too old of a system,
right?
For the way MMA and the way MMA has gone, it's too old of a system. On top of that, they need to change the judges. Because the type of judges that they have all the time are judges that are like these rich guys that are like,
what do they know about jiu-jitsu
exactly,
or Muay Thai?
They don't know shit. Like, that's why a lot of the times when you see a fight, this fighter clearly won the fight, dominated, and somehow the other opponent wins unanimous decision. It's just like, what in the world? And it happens all the time in the UFC. You know, it happens all the time. So he was talking about how, like, you know, what they need to do, and Pat was agreeing with him, is for as far as judges, they should have fighters judge the fight. Like other people that know what they're talking about, people that have been in there, because you're gonna have a completely different type of judging from, let's say, a person who used to be a fighter and he's a judge, than a person who's never fought in his life, he's never gotten in the cage, and he's judging the fight. It's easy to judge a fight. It's easy to critique and, you know, say shit about somebody or two fighters when they're fighting. But it's different when you've already done that, you've been in there, you've experienced it, you have a lot of experience in it, you're going to see it from a completely different perspective. You know what I mean? You're going to be like, oh shit, like he's fishing for that underhook, but he's defending it pretty well. You know, you're going to see it as, oh, he's on top of me, and you know, he's dominant. That's it. But you're not going to see me act the defense, what I'm doing defensively to keep him from fully mounting me.
And that's my question is, when let's say somebody tries to get you in an armbar. Right? But you defend it. And let's say they try 3 times to get you in an armbar and you get out of it. What is more impressive? That they're on you trying an armbar, or that you actually slipped out of it? That's a question that I've always had. Like, who wins that battle?
It goes both ways, because you got to think of it this way. If you if I'm very active on my back and think of it this way, I'm constantly catching you with punches. That's what constantly putting people in submissions is. I'm catching you with punches. It's what when I knock you out. That's the finish of the submission. I submit you. So being active and putting people in submissions, that's earning you points. On the other hand, being defensive and defending against the position, the submission, is also earning you points. You get me?
But if somebody doesn't know what they're watching or whatever, to them it's not points. Like, oh, you're scared, or
for example, like, let's say I'm in the one of the, because this happens a lot. I've seen it happen a lot. In the fight, this guy goes for 4 arm bars, and this guy gets out of it 4 times. Who do you think is going to win that round? Out of the entire round, that's the most of the action. Who thinks he's going to win that round? You know, even though he was being aggressive, he was trying to armbar him. This guy was defending the armbar, getting out, and keeping that pressure on the other guy. Because that's usually how it's going to be from that position. The guy on the bottom is going to be trying the armbar, while the other guy on top is going to get the top position. The guy in the top position is usually the one that's going to win that round, because he's maintaining control and maintaining the top position. That's the advantageous position. Unless you're on the bottom and you're just, you're defending all the strikes, you're catching him in all these submissions, and you're not really letting the other guy do anything. If you're not really letting the other guy do anything, then that round's probably going to go to you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But it's all about control. That is the main thing that they look at.
Who's controlling
who's controlling the fight and who's controlling the positions. So that's like the main thing they look for.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's one of those things that, when I watch it, I'm like, they're like, who do you think won the fight? I'm like, well, shit, I have no idea, because they're both on the floor the whole time. And I'm assuming the guy that was on top is probably going to win. However, the guy who was on the bottom, if he didn't, look, if you're on top and you, for like 3 rounds, and you couldn't do anything significant, that means that you're not as good as you thought you were, because you're on top. The guy is at the bottom, and you couldn't do nothing to him. That means he's got good defense. That should count for something.
It does. But I mean, like I said, like, for example, this fight, like, he was he was staying in control the whole fight. He was scoring a lot of points. He was hitting me. So it's not that he couldn't finish me, but he was still scoring a lot of points to where it was unanimous. Like I said, like,
did you know you lost the fight? Like, or did you feel you lost it?
Well, when they ended it, I was like, fuck, I lost the fight. I thought it was gonna be 5 rounds, and when it was on the 3rd, I was like, fuck, man, like, there goes.
You
my
just
chance.
had that feeling like, yeah, he got me.
And no, well, it's not just he got me. It's just like I didn't do anything to for me to even like come close to winning the fight. You know.
Right.
But like that fight, I was in shape, and I had my striking skill set. I just didn't work on my wrestling enough. And what I mean by that is, I didn't have any wrestling partners to work on my wrestling to where I'd be able to have that reaction to defend the takedown.
Right.
Because I've fought in wrestlers before. I fought this college wrestler before, and he was really good. And there's one of my fights there on YouTube too. And he was a wrestler, and I stifled his wrestling. I was defending the takedowns, and I was out wrestling him. And I was the one who was mainly containing the top control. He took me down a couple times, but then I would reverse it, and then I would establish top control.
Right.
But I fought in wrestlers. Like it's not that, I don't have wrestling game. It's just I didn't have the reaction speed that I needed. I didn't prepare enough to have the reaction speed for the fight.
Right.
For the takedowns.
Cool.
So
how much did you get paid for this fight?
I think it was like $800.
$800, and then if you win, another $800.
It was $800. I ended up paying my friends to corner me for that fight because my trainer was having his daughter at the time.
Oh, okay.
And she was in the hospital, and it was a rough birth.
Right.
So he couldn't go. So I ended up asking my friend Jerry and my friend Alex, and Jerry's actually the younger brother of that guy Martin I was telling you about earlier. And right now, him and his brother's been living with Nick Diaz for the last 5 years.
Nate Diaz?
Nick Diaz.
Oh, Nick Diaz.
The Diaz brothers?
Yeah.
So he's been living with him for
Wow.
4 or 5 years. And Jerry just actually a couple of weeks ago just left to go train over there.
Jesus Christ, you hear that wind?
It's pretty windy outside.
For those of you that don't know, El Paso has like in March and April, they have windstorms. I mean, they're like sick windstorms. You get like sand in your teeth.
It turns into
in your underwear. Man. You're like, how the hell did sand get in my underwear? What the hell is this? And so you can hear the wind out here because I'm in my fake studio bedroom. So all right, so let's kind of wrap this up. So I know you got to go soon. Or are you good?
I'm still good. Yeah.
So what I want to know is like on a scale from 1 to 10, can you take us through? Let's say you have an upcoming fight, right? You did all the training. You're prepared. Let's say it's in Colorado. You get to Colorado. On a scale from 1 to 10, where are you when you arrive to Colorado? Like, are you at a 2? Are you at a 5? Are you at an 8 already? Like mentally,
mentally prepared, right. Or my body physically?
No, mentally.
Mentally, I'm probably like at a 4 or 5. 4 or 5,
just relaxed.
It's because like it's honestly when you're cutting weight, man, like you don't give a shit at the moment. You really don't. At least I don't care. I know a lot of people are in that mode where they just really don't give a shit. They just want to weigh in. And a lot of times, like, dude, like, no matter, it doesn't matter how professional promotions can be. A lot of times, dude, they have your ass waiting.
Okay.
And, you're waiting to weigh in because that way you can rehydrate and replenish your body and eat, and feel better.
Right.
You're just feeling like shit because you're cutting weight, especially if it's like a big weight cut, like 145, it can suck sometimes, but like, I've gone to 135. That shit really sucks.
Right.
Really, really sucks.
What are you walking around weight right now?
Right now I'm like at 165.
And if you were to fight like in 2 months, what would you cut down to?
In 2 months, I'll do a 135.
135. Yeah. Jesus Christ, 30 pounds? Yeah. How do you cut 30 pounds in 2 months?
Most of that will be through
clenbuterol.
Eating. It'll
Calm down, Canelo.
It'll be eating through dieting. Like,
just diet.
I have to, dude. I can't fuck up my diet on 135. I fuck my diet up, then dude, I'll feel it in the last couple pounds. Dude, and that's what sucks. The last couple pounds are always the hardest.
Right.
So I can't fuck it up,
Like, what do you eat?
Strictly in the mornings, I'll have a small bowl of oatmeal, a cup of black coffee, and that's it. And maybe some banana.
Okay.
And then in the afternoon, I'll have like a grilled chicken with like like spinach leaves.
Okay. Sounds disgusting.
And maybe rice. And that's it.
And what rice?
And rice.
Oh, like brown rice or just regular rice?
Brown rice.
Any kind of rice?
It doesn't really matter, to be honest, because it helps you process food
organic, whole foods rice.
Honestly, it doesn't matter. I make the rice from scratch, and I don't like get it in a pouch or anything like that.
Right. Uncle Ben's minute rice.
Uncle Ben's minute rice. Yeah, that rice is good though. And then for dinner, if it's early during the training, I usually will eat salmon. But
like every day, or
yeah,
really?
I don't change it up. Everybody's like, yeah, don't you get bored? I'm like, if you're training 3-4 hours a day and you're tired as fuck and you're starving, you're not gonna give a shit.
Yeah, you just want to eat.
You're not gonna give a shit if it's the same meal every day. You're just gonna eat. You're gonna give your body the fuel so you don't feel like shit and you get on to the next day.
Right.
You know what I mean? But usually, I'll do tilapia because tilapia has less fat than salmon.
Okay.
And I'll do that every day. And with that, I'll mainly fill my stomach up with asparagus because it's just it cleanses your body out, and I can fill my stomach up and be full and satisfied, and that won't do anything. It won't impact me negatively weight wise. Same thing with vegetables. If I get like a vegetable medley, same thing. I can fill my stomach up with that because all that is just water. Right. Water and nutrients, you know, and the nutrients stay in your system, and then you flush it out when you take a piss, you know.
Right.
So like I'll stick with that type of diet, and then like I'll be drinking like a gallon and a half a day
of water.
Mm-hmm. Last week, I'll cut the meals. So like the last 2 weeks, I'll cut the meals in half, and on the last week, I'll cut that in half. Right. On the last week. So I'm still eating, and I'm just, I'll get Gerbers of sweet potatoes, and I'll just be like this. No, really. It's sweet potatoes, man. Like it gives you good carbs. It's healthy carbs. With a little bit of honey. That's all healthy carbs right there. Right. So I'll just be there, That way it gives my body the energy. Because if not, I'm not going to be able to work out.
On the last week?
I'll be too exhausted. Yeah, especially on the last couple of days.
And are you heavily sparring or?
No, I'm not. You know what? A lot of people spar. I don't spar as much anymore as I used to. It's not because it's unhealthy and my brain and
concussions and all that.
It's not even that, because like I can spar. I do spar, but sparring's not that too important. Right. It's not too important. See, what's very important is establishing the skill set. So drills. Drilling is very important.
Trying to get it perfect.
Yeah, sparring should be used to like just get that reaction speed. So you don't have to spar too much. And then so that last week, definitely I won't spar anymore. I'll stop sparring. By Monday, I'll be at a gallon. I'll be at a gallon, and then by Tuesday, I'll still be probably like 3/4 of a gallon, and then by Wednesday, I'll be half a gallon, and then Thursday, I'll be half of that gallon. Wow! And then I'll cut Thursday night, and then. I'll probably the goal is to be like 3 or 4 pounds away from your goal weight. Wake up the next day early. By that time, I've already metabolized 1 or 2 pounds. I've already metabolized 1 or 2 pounds, so I'll probably have like 1 or 2 pounds to cut. But still, dude, those 2 pounds.
Do you go to the sauna?
You know what? I prefer. I hate it. I really hate it. It's like death for me, but I prefer the steam room.
The steam room, yeah.
The steam room, because that will get me sweating so fast. And the sauna, I won't sweat. It'll take me like an hour to start to sweat. Right. Like it's like I can be in there a lot longer than the steam room, but I won't sweat as fast and as profusely as I would in the steam room.
What about that stuff? A lot of like fighters, they fill the bathtub up and then they put that salt, the Epsom salt.
No, that's for recovery. That's for recovery.
I thought it was to cut weight too.
Well, no, what I do that one too. I hate that one. Is you get in the water and you're in there for, you put the water is as hot as you can tolerate it, pretty much.
Scalding.
Yeah, almost, yeah. And then you're in there, you put the sauna suit on, and what we do is you put a bunch of towels on you, traps in the heat.
Right.
Misery.
Yeah, you're just
plain.
Please
misery.
Just kill me.
No, it's not. Please just kill me. It's just, dude. I don't know how to describe it to you, man.
You have to be mentally tough to do.
Honestly, right? It is all about mental fortitude. It's all about mental fortitude. Like, being a fighter is just mentally tough as it is, but any fighter that has to really cut weight or that cuts weight will tell you that is the worst part of being a fighter.
Cutting the weight.
It's cutting the weight. Not being able to eat what you want or any of that shit. No, it's literally cutting the weight on those last days. That is the worst part. That is just misery. The last week is misery up until the fight comes.
Right.
You know?
That's crazy.
Straight misery.
So, okay, so let's say, all right, so you're out of 4 or 5, and let's say you do the weigh-ins. The weigh-ins are the day before, right?
A day before.
So, let's say you make weight. As soon as you make weight, what happens in your mental state then? Like, because you know the fight's going to be on.
Honestly.
We both made weight. Now what's going through your mind?
Well, 2 things. Okay, I'm like, because when you do the weigh-ins, that's when you size up your opponent. Right. Always definitely.
The first face-off.
Size up your opponent, yes. And you gotta look as tough as you can. Right. You can't look weak. That's another thing. Right. You might look
cutting of the weight.
You might look like shit. You might feel like shit. But once you do that weigh-in, all that goes out the window. Right. You go straight to You go straight to a 10. Right. Straight to a 10 on that weigh-in. I mean, once you get off that scale and that face-off, straight to a 10, face-off. Just be ready. Look them dead in the eyes, and you don't look away. You try not to be the guy to break eye contact. Right. That's always been me. Like, I'll look at you and stay there until somebody breaks eye contact. And then, or the promoter's like, okay, guys, okay, take a picture, blah, blah, blah.
Like, no, I'm still looking at
it. But usually I do a pretty intense stare down, but I'm always respectable. I'm always, I'm always respectable, and, I try not to, get any disrespect in any way. It's only happened once. That's because that guy headbutted me in the forehead.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I pushed him, so they got all crazy, But
who's that guy that kisses people and he'll do a selfie, and he's a famous fighter. During the weigh-ins, he always does something like that. He always makes the other guy laugh.
I don't know. That guy's actually pretty funny. His weigh-ins are pretty funny. Yeah. But yeah, after that, you forget about the fighter. You forget about the fight. Well, you don't forget about it, but you just concentrate on rehydrating your body now. Right. So when you take weight cuts like that, what you do is this is what I do. I do a concoction. I'll make 2 gallons of this concoction, and then I have my Pedialyte. Spices. So what it is a gallon. I'll empty it out, half a gallon. Okay. I'll fill it up with Pedialyte, coconut water, and a flavored Gatorade, depending on the flavor of Pedialyte that I have. I'll fill that up, mix it, boom, that's 2 gallons of that, and then just Pedialyte and water on the side, and coconut water. I'll always have those 3 on the side still. So once I'm done, I start drinking my Pedialyte first from the weigh-ins, and then I'll start sipping on that. You can't. A lot of people, you see, it's tripping me out because that's how I know it's not a hard cut. When people chug it. You do that when you have you cut like that, literally that water will straight through you. Really? From one end out the other end. No, really, and it'll happen within an hour. Wow. Yeah, and it like I said, it's happened to me before. That's how I know. So that's what you're supposed to sip. So what I do is I sip on that, up until for 3 hours. Okay. So the reason you do that is so when you're doing that, all that water is going to go to your legs. That's the main important thing. So you need that water in your legs. Right. If you eat right away, all the water that you're going to get is going to go to your digestive system. So it's not even going to go to your legs. Okay. You get me? So I focus first 2-3 hours to hydrate, and after that,
that's your body right.
That's when I decide to eat, and I don't even eat like crazy. I eat little.
What do you eat? The grilled chicken.
Pasta, fish.
A lot of carbs.
I carb load. The one thing that I'll be doing a lot. That's another thing that I prepare. I get like a big old Tupperware. Mm-hmm. Fill it up with a crap ton of Gerber sweet potatoes, and just a bottle of honey, of bee honey.
Spray it all on there
as much as I can, and then that bottle, I'll be drinking that bottle too. Like I'm telling you, like I have to have my stuff.
You have a system already.
I have stuff, yeah, and then I'll mix that, and that's the first thing I'll eat actually before I actually eat food. Because again, I'm not gonna digest it the way I would digest food and break it down. That will go straight to my body and give me the energy that I need. So I'll be doing that, and then once I'm done hydrating, then I'll decide to eat, and like. I usually just buy the food and let it sit there. I never eat it fresh. Right. Because, by the time I'm ready to eat, a lot of stuff's closed, and the stuff that's open is fast food.
So what is your mental state at that time when you're rehydrating after the weigh-in, you're eating?
By that point, I'm like thinking about what I'm going to be doing. I try to put myself in the fight.
Right. Visualize.
A lot of visualization. That's when I start concentrating, and I'll actually go to sleep pretty early, because you are tired, you're pretty exhausted. So, I'll go to sleep, wake up the next day like around 7 or 8, have to, and then.
Do you go for a quick run or?
We'll train, mitt work, run, light exercise, and then, we'll have breakfast. Yeah. Okay. Have breakfast first. And I'll have a pretty big breakfast. Right. A really big breakfast. And then
eggs, bacon, sausage.
Dude, I'm telling you,
like a king. Huh?
I'll eat for 3 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, yeah. After
That's my regular breakfast.
Yeah. Well, after weight cutting like that, and you can eat.
Right. Your appetite's fine there.
As long as it's not like stuff that makes you lethargic. You can eat. So I'll have a big hearty breakfast, and then. Just chill for like 2-3 hours, let my food go down. Then I'll go run, work out, mitt work and all that stuff. And that'll be my last one for the day until we have to get ready to go to wherever it is we're going to fight. Like usually like the Coliseum or the rec center, event center, whatever it is, or the hotel, casino. So I'll have like 5 hours to kill. And in that time, I'll probably eat 2 more times. Right. I'll after working out, I'll probably start getting hungry again, and then I'll eat, and then before we actually start getting ready to head out, I'll eat again because I won't be able to eat after that until after the fight.
Cool. So, what couple hours before? What's your mental state shoot up to? 8, 9, or you're still very relaxed?
I'm like at a 7 or 8.
Okay.
I'm not too high strung yet. I'm relaxed. I'm just watching TV, just
watching a movie or something. Yeah,
just staying relaxed. It's very important to stay relaxed. Get there, like the switch doesn't turn on until I have my gloves on and I'm warming up.
In the dressing room.
In the dressing room. Well, yeah, I'll be there chilling. Looking at other people, watching them work out, train. Right. And
do you watch the other fights?
I'll watch some of the other fights depending on when I'm fighting. Right. But once I start warming up, dude, it's game on. I'm at a 10. My mental sharpness is all the way up. Starting to get my body sharp. Right. Once I get in there, I'm focused on that person and nothing else.
Your very first professional fight. I mean, you must have been crazy, nervous, right?
No, I've never been one to be nervous like that.
Really?
Yeah.
No butterflies?
Well, think about it. I had, in total, I've already had close to 30 fights amateur. Right. It's the same thing. Same type of things, same type of settings. It's the same thing. That's what amateurs for is work. You got to get rid of all that stuff. Right. Once you get in there, you, like I said, professional, man. You got to be a pro.
Right. Cool. If you need a a cut man, quarter man. I'm not a cut man, a quarter man. I'll do it for free, dude.
Well, cornermen are very important. They gotta
motivate you. They watch what's going on. Like, hey, he's doing this.
Exactly. Like they gotta pick up on things that you might not pick up on. You know what I mean? Because obviously, if you pick up on it, you'll react to it right there in the fight.
Right.
But if you're not picking it up, they'll be like, he keeps doing this. Like, you just watch for it. He keeps doing this. He keeps doing that.
He drops his left, uppercut his ass.
Every time he drops his left, he's gonna do this every single time. So it's every single time.
So you're calculating.
You got to look for it. So once you start looking for it, now you got to time it.
Right.
And you have not that long to do all that. When you're in there, it's so crazy. When you're in there, your brain is going 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Oh yeah. I bet.
People are like, well, how do you think about this and how do you think about that? Like, honestly,
it's just automatic.
It's automatic. It's on the fly. Like, it's
all your skills that you have in your computer,
all happening all at once.
It's just boom,
all at once. It's so crazy. Like you're looking at his foot, you're paying attention to his footwork, his hands, his head, his movement, everything, all at once.
And everything you've trained for is now there, and your body just reacts to what's in front of you.
So it's very important to have good cornermen, especially ones that know what they're doing.
So right now, who's your main guy that you go to for advice or help or?
Oh, it's still Shane.
Still Shane.
Still Shane.
He's your mentor and your.
He's always been and then just recently my friend Mikey, we might get him into the Wolves Den too.
Oh.
To be a new trainer, but because they're gonna do the jiu-jitsu program there, and right now he has his own thing going on, and he's trying to open up a new gym too. He wants to, but
okay,
investors. So he's from here, but he just got back from Miami a while back.
Okay, he's training over there.
He was the Muay Thai coach over there for Cyborg's gym, not the female, her husband.
Okay,
the male, and his jiu-jitsu system's from their system.
Wow.
So he has his black belt. He should be his brown belt. He should be getting his black belt soon. But that's where I've been working my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu with now.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have I'm starting to get a solid ground game going on.
Right.
Now that I have somebody to do it with, because that was my one thing that I was having a huge problem for this past couple of years is, I didn't have, for my team or the people that I train with, we didn't have a solid ground people.
Right.
We would have to go somewhere else to train.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I got him,
you'll have a lot more tools.
He's definitely going to be one of my cornermen.
Right.
You know, and Shane's always going to be my cornerman.
Well, you could just say no, coach, instead of basically doing this whole story about you don't know jiu-jitsu, so you.
Well, it's because he's a legit cornerman. My friend.
Yeah, you need somebody like that.
Even he's with Diaz. Diaz has all these guys.
Right.
And who do you think my friend will always call to corner him for his fights?
Of course.
Shane. And he's had some big fights. He's been fighting.
Experience matters too. Experience is a big part of it.
Experience matters, but again, you just gotta know how to use it, and Shane knows how to use it.
Right.
Because there's people who have all the experience, and they make some really dumb advice decisions.
Right.
And it's just why would you tell him that? That's just stupid.
Right.
Why would you tell him he's winning when he's clearly not?
Right.
Why would you tell him to stay away from him and stay back when he needs to put
when
the
you're
pressure
losing
on?
the fight?
Yeah, people say some stupid things, and I'm just you're retarded. I see really stupid things in the UFC, and I'm like, how are these guys what every fighter is supposed to aspire to be?
Right.
Or trainers,
They're supposed to be the poster people for mixed martial arts.
Exactly. Bellator is getting there, but Bellator's honestly, they have shenanigans too. Some of these fighters, it's just man, why are you there? You guys should be retired. You guys should be,
It's Ortiz and Vito Belva. What's his name?
No, it's Ortiz, Vanderlei, fucking Ken Shamrock. I don't think Ken Shamrock's fighting anymore.
That dude has mechanical legs now because his knees are all blown up, but he's still trying to wrestle. Then, dude, come on.
They're signing Vanderlei Silva to Bellator now.
Wow.
And,
wow. Do you remember when UFC?
Shell Sonnen too.
Shell Sonnen. But do you remember when UFC had no weight classes?
Oh, dude, I used to watch that all the time when I was a kid.
See, that's that's what got me kind of hooked. Like me and my friends in high school, when UFC first came out, and then when it started getting a little bit more popular, like in the mid '90s, something like that. Like then it was like UFC 15 by then or something like that.
Yeah.
But basically, I mean, with the no weight classes and all that, that's what got people really interested in the sport.
Yeah.
And because you had a Horse Gacy beating up this like 300-pound dude, choking him out and stuff like that.
Well,
and
if you think about it, all that was back in the day was pretty much the Kumite. That's literally what I think about as I think about the Kumite. Like all these different styles.
Blood sport.
even though that movie was based off of Frank Dukes, so a real person in real life, is complete horse shit. And I was so mad when I found out.
When you found out?
When I found out that
it's a movie, bro. It's Hollywood.
No. The story of Frank Dukes is horse shit.
Oh, like somebody just made it up.
No. He fabricated mostly all of that shit, and I was so mad when I saw who the real Frank Dukes was. And I'm like, he would look like that. He looks like those guys that are like, I'll teach you how to break someone's back and neck with just rolling your fingers this way and looking at them with your brain. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
that Japanese guy
who
like flips some dude over with just his eyes.
And then he tried to fight a real MMA fighter.
And they're like in like a real is a kimono?
Yeah, like sensei.
Like they're like all like
dress
hardcore.
Or whatever you call it.
They look so legit.
Yeah,
they look so legit. And this guy like comes out and throws a punch, and he's just like this on his knees. And the guy just like his hand gets caught by somebody in midair, and he does a flip. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like that's what Frank Dukes became to me. That was my favorite movie.
Oh man, Bloodsport is amazing, man.
It's still one of my favorite movies, but because of Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like he made it badass. When you hear about Frank Dukes, it's just like, dude, Van Damme made your life so cool.
Oh yeah.
And now that I know who you are just complete shit, and I'm so disappointed that this movie's based off of you. They were better off just saying Bloodsport, and it's not based off a true story or true events or anything like that. But it's funny, like watching this fake martial arts people.
I was watching some UFC, UFC 1, and dude, the winners fought 3 times in one day in one tournament.
Yeah, that's how old martial arts used to be. Right. That's how even in Taekwondo tournaments, it would be me versus a karate, a Hapkido guy. Like it was different styles, in the points and in the sparring.
A boxer.
Yeah, that's a real that's just how martial arts tournaments were all the time. Even back in 2000 to 2005 to 2010, like it was still like that. It might be like that still to this day, but no one really cares anymore because it's all MMA now. But that's just how it was all the time. Like the underground Kumite, which actually exists, was it was just very traditional and honor bound. That's why it was the way it was.
Right.
And the UFC pretty much just tried mainstreaming it back in the day. Back then, actually they didn't. They failed until the Zuffa brothers.
Right. They came in
and the Zuffa brothers they mainstreamed it because it wasn't mainstream. Like you wouldn't be able to see it on TV. You would have to order it.
The pay-per-view.
The pay-per-views and I remember, dude. King of the Cage was bigger than the UFC at one point.
I remember King of the Cage.
King of the Cage was bigger than the UFC at one point. Mm-hmm. That's the one I would always see. It was King of the Cage.
Right.
A lot of the world champions that you see in the UFC all got their start in King of the Cage.
King of the Cage, man. Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you think about that now? Like, what if UFC went to a style where you got to fight 2 or 3 times? There's a UFC
Pride used to
700, whatever it is now, and it's a tournament.
You can't with all the regulations. It's not going to happen. Pride used to do that. Pride used to do that. One FC, I think, might do that. Where you have to fight more than once in one night.
Mm-hmm.
Pride used to do that because it wasn't in America. It was always in Japan.
Right.
Dude, Japan's crazy as fuck.
Yeah.
When it comes to all that shit, Japan's crazy as fuck. You know, like, but you know, it'd be an honor to fight over there. Like, I would love to fight over there.
Right.
One of these days, like
I said, do a tournament like that.
Not necessarily do a tournament like that. Just like I said, you know, UFC's not. It used to be my end game, but now it's just like, you know, I need to get my record up. You know, I can get my record up. I still have my clock isn't ticking. To be honest, I'm barely gonna be 30 this year, and I should be hitting my prime.
Right.
I should barely be hitting my prime.
Right.
So you know, I don't have. You know, like it's not like
You're not in a hurry.
I'm not in a hurry right now, but I'm definitely in a hurry to get my record better. Yeah.
Right.
You know, I should already be there. You know, I should already. But the good thing is, you know, when I moved to San Jose, you know, AKA is just like 20 minutes away, bike ride. So
right.
I'm going to do my best, my hardest to get on that fight team. And, you know, if I could train with, like, you know, the likes of DC, Kane, Khabib, you know, what's his name, Luke Rockhold, with those type of guys over there, that'd be badass, you know?
Right,
That's where they're at right now.
Right.
So, you know, like, just got a couple, you know, I'm probably till June, July. I have till June, July.
So you're moving in June, July?
Yeah, well, my apartment lease, you know, ends in May. I have to move out of there by the 31st. So I'm not going to, you know, leave till probably after June, maybe July. I don't know yet.
Your wife okay with all this?
Well, no, she's coming with. That's why we're waiting, actually.
Okay.
My son's birthday is in June. So,
okay.
You know, that's from my previous relationship. I have 2 kids from a previous relationship, and we have a daughter, me and my wife.
Oh, okay.
So us 3, we're going to be moving to California.
Okay.
And the good thing is when we get there, you know, we'll have a job waiting for us. You know, I'm pretty much going to be focusing on that, just school, working, and then training.
Right.
You know.
What are you going to school for?
I'm just doing biological sciences.
Okay.
I haven't decided
like
where
nutrition or
no, hell no. No, I want to work with animals. So like, I don't know if I'm going to switch over to marine biology, you know.
Oh, nice.
Work at the aquariums that they have all over California.
Wow.
Or zoology, you know, because I do want to be a vet.
Really?
That's going to, I'll do it. If I go balls to the wall, I'm probably not going to be done till like I'm like 38.
Right.
Like I'll actually be able to get paid in a full-fledged vet by the time I'm 38.
Right.
So, you know, but I don't mind going to school in the meantime, you know, like while I'm doing what I'm doing. Because, you know, I have another job waiting for me. It's going to pay really well, you know. So I can be doing that and I'll be fine, you know.
Right.
Going to school here and there, you know, like taking 2-3 classes, you know, then working at night and stuff. But, you know, I'm definitely going to be training. You know, that's definitely what I'm going to be doing. You know, my wife's going to be going to school too. She wants to be an EMT.
Okay, cool.
And she, you know, that'd be good over there.
Yeah.
So
there always need more EMTs, man. The world's getting crazier.
Yeah. It's San Jose. It's pretty chilling over there. It's not that crazy. You know, San Francisco's right there too.
Yeah, you're in the middle of all that stuff.
But you know, our goal is realistic goal. We're just gonna be there for like a year. You know, after that, we're gonna be moving to San Diego. I don't know if Mesa or maybe El Cajon.
Okay, El Cajon, yeah.
But probably El Cajon or Mesa, one of those two. Since the university is literally right in Mesa, right there. And if I were to go into El Cajon, probably it's more inexpensive to live in El Cajon than like Mesa, Chula Vista, all that stuff. So probably that's gonna be our, you know, our choices between Chula Vista, El Cajon, or Mesa. But I'm strongly thinking Mesa or El Cajon.
Cool, man. Well, good luck with that. So when's your next fight?
There's supposed to be a fight here in El Paso next month in April.
Okay.
So it's just getting in shape, right? I mean, I'm not in.
Like, are you signed for that fight? Like,
no,
you're gonna do it, or you don't know yet?
See, the thing that's the tricky part. You can't say yes until you sign, and they don't want to sign until last minute. You know, it sucks. It really, really sucks.
It's like mind games and trying to get the...
It's just politics.
Politics, yeah.
It's because you got to understand, you know, it's not just politics with the promoters. It's politics with the athletic commission.
Right.
You know, the promoters don't get enough credit for what they do. putting these events
together with all the licensing and the permits.
Dude, what they have to go through, all the licensing, all the checks that they have to do, all the money that they have to spend, like
out of their own pocket to try to get it back. Out of their own
pocket, and then the promoting. That's why they promote. You know, they have to get sponsorships. They have to get tons of sponsorships to get these events going on.
Right.
So that's why, you know, it's not a guaranteed thing. They say they're coming to El Paso, but they have to get all the sponsorships and shit, because, you know, if they're going to lose out, then they're not going to want to come back to El Paso. Right. And every promotion that's come to El Paso loses out because they don't promote it right. They don't. And they use the worst venues. And us as fighters, like, why? Why would you promote it here? You know, like, you can get different promoters or different sponsors and have it in a different place. And then you guys are trying to charge like crazy amount of money. It's like, it's not going to happen. You know, El Paso is not an MMA city. Right. El Paso's a boxing city, and El Paso's a jiu-jitsu city. Yeah. It's just jiu-jitsu and boxing. Like, yeah,
you don't really hear much about MMA or
or
any other sport for that matter.
And they're the one next week, this weekend, the 31st, right? Right.
Jesus, I don't even know.
Yeah, this weekend. I think so. Yes. So this weekend in Las Cruces they're gonna have fights. You know. And guaranteed it's gonna sell out.
Right.
It's gonna sell out because New Mexico is huge in MMA.
Well, Albuquerque, right?
Yeah. Well, you got Albuquerque, Deming, Silver City, Roswell. Dude, Roswell's huge. It's crazy. Really? I fought a lot there. I like that place. Roswell, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Las Cruces. Like, dude, they're all huge. Like, if there's a fight, it's always sell out. Always. Here in El Paso, there's a fight.
Right. It's like, because this is what they call a, what is it? The name, transient city, or I forget the name, but basically, a lot of the people that live here are not from here, and they're always on the go. They're either coming or going, and if they stay, it's like 2-3 years, like me. You know, this I've been here almost 3 years, and we're about to leave.
Yeah,
and so it's a big military town too. So people are not putting down roots, and so they don't feel attached. They're like, back where I'm from, I've already seen a big UFC fight or a big boxing fight. These are like lower level. I'm not gonna waste my time with it.
But that's also the thing. Like, people are that's a horrible mentality to have.
Right, it is.
It's like, they're having MMA fights, so I'm down to go see it. Like, I don't care if I've already seen it. Dude, I've seen plenty of big fights. You know, like one of my first one of my earlier pro fights. You know, not Ronda Rousey. Holly Holm was the main event. She was headlining it. Yeah, she headlined it. Dude, it was badass. You know.
Was it in New Mexico?
It was in Santa Fe.
Santa Fe.
No, wait. No, it was in Albuquerque. It was in Albuquerque.
Right.
It was in the Route 66 hotel casino. It was there. And like she headlined it. It was before she went to shortly before she went to the UFC. So like you get a lot of these big names, and it's not all the same. I mean, it's not. How do I put it? It's not all like. I guess the way people, it's not all the same. All the fights are always going to be different, and it's always fun to go see them. I mean, who doesn't want to go see fights? Boxing or MMA, it doesn't matter. But everybody's just like, I already want to see them all.
Right, exactly. But no, it's like, dude, you're gonna potentially see people that are gonna make it to the UFC. They're gonna make it to all these other places. So why not go support and see?
Now that Jennifer Hahn, right? Now that she's the champ, everybody goes to see her.
Right.
Like, when prior, we wouldn't get crazy sellout crowds,
like
crazy
10 people
crowds.
there.
Yeah, like, I mean, it'd be a decent showing. But now that she's a champ, like, now everybody wants to go see her.
Bandwagon people.
Yeah, exactly. And sadly, that's what it takes. I'm pretty sure if I were to go to the UFC, and I'd be like, oh, shout out to my friends in El Paso, and the fact that people hear El Paso, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll be there, this weekend, going to party at EPTX, like some bar. Promise you that bar is gonna be so packed because they heard a UFC fighter that just won his fight is gonna be there.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Go party with the champ.
Exactly. I'm not even be the champ, but they're gonna feel like I am.
Exactly.
And that's just mentality of people nowadays.
That's cool, man. All right, well, Coach, because I call you Coach. Appreciate you being here, man.
Loved it, dude.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. I learned a lot. I hope all the listeners and viewers learned a lot about what it takes to be a pro MMA fighter. Sacrifice, hard work, dedication, training, diet, all that stuff, man. That's
so much into it.
Yeah, you put your heart, your soul, sweat, tears, blood, all that stuff into it, man. And well, we wish you the best of luck, dude. We wish you the best of luck with your next fight. I'll definitely be there. Just let me know, man. Shoot me a message. And
hope to do this again.
We definitely
could do some conspiracy theories.
I promise you, man. If we're still doing this podcast, and you become the champ, you will tremendously help me, because then this will be like your first life story interview, and everybody's gonna want to hear it. Everybody's gonna want to watch it. So I really wish that you become a world champ. You help me, I help you, and that's how it works, man. So we wish you all the best. It's all
about helping each other, not competing against each other.
Right. So I will see you tomorrow at 5 a.m.
At 5 a.m. Be ready.
Jesus Christ, man. And I've been off for 2 weeks for spring break. And going back to work, it's going to suck, man.
With my workouts,
it's going to suck so bad. So yeah, I'm mentally preparing myself for that.
All right.
I'm going to have to make some more deals with the devil at 4:15 when I wake up, man.
Well, you're only going to see him again at the gym. He's working you out.
The demon! Playing your Slayer or whatever it is that you...
Dude, I'm always playing like...
What are the name of the bands that you're playing?
So I just bought my iTunes, so now I can tailor my playlist now.
Right.
So what I was using is my Spotify to the bands that I like.
Yeah, and it plays the same thing over and over, right? The Spotify.
The Spotify can do that sometimes. It does it sometimes, and I don't like that.
Right.
But like for example, like how like sometimes it's very orchestra and symphony and like all operatic and stuff like that, and it's because it'll play like the orchestral version of like a song of one of the songs.
Right.
So like Septic Flesh, they use an orchestra a lot. It's called Septic Flesh. Septic Flesh.
Wow.
They're really badass. They're Greek. I wanted to go see them. Yeah. Huh. I wanted to go see them like 2 weeks ago in Austin, but we couldn't go to Austin. But I wanted to see them so bad because they don't come to America that often.
Okay.
They're always touring in Europe. So
so that's what we're listening to in the mornings?
Like that one, that's the one that was really like a lot of orchestra.
Right, like dramatic.
The dramatic one where everyone's like, I feel like I'm like in a 300 movie. I'm like, I'll Septic Flesh, and then I'll play like Karak Angrin, which means iron jaws in Elvish.
All right.
Karak Angrin, and then I'll play. What was I playing last time? Rotting Christ. That's what I played the last time.
Rotting Christ.
I played Rotting
Jesus Christ.
Yes, dude, those guys. I love those guys. God. I see them live. They're pretty badass. What did I play before that? No, I actually played Karak once, and then Septic Flesh twice, and then Rotting Christ the last time. So now I'm gonna have a mixture of all my music.
I look forward to it, man.
So I'll make that playlist.
Not tonight. Really. All right, Coach. Well, appreciate you, man, coming on the Sweet Advice podcast, giving us some sweet-ass advice on pro MMA and all that stuff. And we really do look forward to having you again on here.
I look forward to doing it again.
Maybe, after your fight. If you end up doing the fight.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
And then you can take us through, like, what you did to prepare and how you saw the fight. And, and we really do hope that you win. And we'll go to the club and party with you. Mike Tyson over here, man.
Probably.
Yeah, so all that stuff. All right, guys. So I hope you really enjoyed it, because I know I did. And check back with us. We're going to have Brian Castillo hopefully very soon again. I'm sorry. Let me say it right. Brian, the Demon Castillo. Right? All right, guys. So... keep checking with us, and we're gonna have a lot more interviews, and hopefully we'll have some more MMA people, some more boxing people that are gonna be coming your way. Going to the gym is really awesome because I get to meet all you guys. I get to meet all these guys that are amateurs or professionals, and they're coming up and they're training, and I get to talk to them. It's really awesome, man. Yeah, well, and I'm sure you get to talk to other people too.
Yeah, I do, all the time. Honestly, I love interacting with people. Yeah,
it's awesome. I mean, you just got to talk. You can't be afraid. There's a lot of people that are shy and is that the guy over there? And me, I'm like straight away. Hey, are you training to be a pro? Hey, I need you on the podcast, man. That's kind of how I did it with you.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'm talking to some of the other trainers right now, hopefully they'll be on the podcast too. Yeah. And you know what? Maybe one day I'll get some more mics and headphones, and we'll all have a round table discussion.
That'd be so much fun. Like I'm telling you, dude, I watch Joe Rogan's podcast all the time, dude. Yeah. And like I said,
dude, screw him now. You got to watch my podcast.
my favorite is when Joey's on the show, dude. That guy, dude, he kills me every time.
And Eddie Bravo with his damn conspiracies. I'm telling you, they're spraying us with chemicals.
Dude, him, Tom Segura, and Joey Diaz all together, dude, they're awesome together.
Yeah.
Awesome
You'll
together.
cry laughing, man.
Dude, they're awesome. Yeah, man, maybe next time, I'll get my friend Mike.
Yeah,
he can give you the jiu-jitsu's perspective.
Shane, we need Shane on here too, man.
Oh yeah, dude.
we need you and Shane.
You will love Shane. When it comes to this stuff, you're gonna love Shane.
Yeah, man. We want the stories.
If you can get another Mike, dude, it's gonna be probably the most hilarious thing ever because he'll talk so much shit about me. How I'm a lazy fighter. Dude, it's so funny. But for us, like that guy has a plethora of knowledge that you won't be able to find anywhere else here in El Paso.
Right. Awesome, man. Yeah, we definitely got to talk to him.
He's been everywhere. Singapore, Thailand.
Wow.
Like he used
training
to
under masters.
He used to be a stuntman. And
oh, really?
Yeah. And
like Hollywood stuntman?
He worked with Jackie Chan.
Wow.
He worked with Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan.
He used to be a professional diver, Olympic diver.
Wow.
He's ex-special forces.
Wow. How old is he?
A little over 40.
In his 40s? Yeah, he's still in his prime.
A little over 40.
Wow.
He's barely 40, I think.
Yeah, man, we definitely got to get him on. Yeah, let me look into getting some more mics, some more headphones, and man, we'll do it.
Dude, definitely.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And the Sweet Advice podcast will be coming to you soon with some more sweet ass advice. Check you guys later.